Hi everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm going to be talking about the options for upgrading from your Google Mini to more modern search platforms from Google Enterprise. My name is Andrew Milo. I am a senior search engineer with Google Enterprise and glad to be talking with you today. Since this is a webinar format, please address all questions to appliance1@google.com. We definitely want to hear from you guys out in the field. We're going to cover as many questions as we can from the perspective of what I present in the content, but we definitely want to hear from you. If I don't cover something that's of interest, we're here and we're ready to answer those questions, and we will get back to you with an answer about what information you need when determining what route to take when upgrading from your Google Mini. So the agenda that I want to cover today is really 4 different topics. I want to cover first our position on enterprise search. Why is Google in this business? What products do we bring to that particular market? And then I do want to deep dive onto the 2 products that we believe make the most sense for folks that are migrating from the Mini, specifically Google Site Search, the Google Search Appliance, and then we'll sort of summarize everything up into one slide that will really give you the key points to consider when thinking about which direction you would want to go from the Google Mini. So first, our position on enterprise search. So Google's position on the enterprise search market and why we're here is pretty significant. Google has always been about search. It's our primary mission. Our goal is to make all the world's information universally accessible and useful, and for the enterprise market, I would add securely so. But an organization called McKinsey, they did a study into the value of web search technologies to the world at large, and the findings were really amazing. They valued this type of technology at over $1 trillion a year to the worldwide market. And I like to frame that by saying that's just under the GDP of Russia from this one technology. It goes into a number of different pieces, but I think what's even more exciting from the perspective of those of us in the enterprise market, they went on to say that the value of this to actual organizations is just starting to scratch the surface. And they bring up things like a 17x ROI on search and all those different pieces, but it's a hard number to measure from the perspective of what actual organizations can get as compared to the consumer market. And that's why we're in this business, because we believe that everybody should be able to have that same beautiful Google search experience where you go one place and find the answers to any information that you need or any questions that you have. We believe that that should exist inside your organization, both for your internal people and also externally for your individual clients. So that's why we're in the market. And the products that we've brought to bear for the market are 2 specific products that we'll be talking about today. It's the Google Search Appliance, which is the yellow box that you see on the screen. It's a piece of hardware that goes in your data center, and I like to call it the Swiss Army knife of search. It can get access into all your different applications, and it can provide that Google search for those internal applications and give you one box to search everything. And then there's Google Site Search, which is designed for more public content. Now, absent from the screen is the Mini, and in looking at our product portfolio going forward, we realized that the use cases that the Mini was providing to the market were really overlapped by these 2 products, which were inherently better products. They were faster products. They were more flexible products. And so what we're doing is we're helping those people such as yourselves look at these different offerings that we have and map you to these different products that can cover the use cases that the Mini was providing. So we will go into these individually and cover the strengths and weaknesses of both of them, and hopefully give you the ability to make the choice of which one makes sense for your situation. Before I talk about the in-depth pieces, let me frame this against what we saw in the marketplace outside of what Google brings to the market. When we looked at the landscape and we looked at the products that we could bring to bear, what we saw were other things that were out there were largely tool sets. And they're great in a number of senses because they bring flexibility and they bring a lot of capabilities, but they inherently had 2 weaknesses. The first one is simple complexity. The architecture diagram on the slide here, this is literally something that you may be looking at to look at a moderate corpus of data for a good size enterprise. We're talking 20, 30, 40 servers and 7 or 8 full-time people before you even get to query 1. So there's a huge IT overhead that's required for these types of tool set products before you even get to the fact of doing that first search. And once you get to search, it becomes even harder because they have what we call a build your own relevance model. You need to literally think about the content that you have and figure out what knobs and dials do I turn in these products to provide relevance for my organization. Well, the inherent problem with that is that you can literally get to 1 trillion different permutations of what settings are possible. And as people, we're really bad at coming up with the one out of 1 trillion different options that makes sense. And given a 60% growth in enterprise content, from a search perspective, that means next year, 10 of the 10 blue links that you have on your first search screen, 6 of them will change. And most organizations just aren't set up to have enough librarians and people so familiar with the content that they could say which of the 6 links should be changing this year versus last year. So we believe that that's inherently a challenge that comes with what else is out there in the marketplace. And we wanted to bring something that would change that type of dynamic. So the approach that we've taken is really a solution-based approach. We're not a tool set. We are very powerful and flexible. We can really work in any type of search situation, but it's going to be a true solution. Out of the box, it's going to do the majority of what you need it to do without huge implementation cycles. It's going to be largely automated. It's going to have things like machine learning built into it, and it's going to be easy to manage because the appliance model or the SaaS model that comes with the 2 products that we're talking about makes it really easy to set up and then on an ongoing basis manage that solution realistically for the way organizations are set up today. And ultimately we want to bring that scale without complexity, but do it in a way that brings Google relevance to bear immediately so that you see that ROI. The value of search is about making your people more productive. It's about shaving the time that it takes to do things on a daily basis, day in and day out. And that's what Google Search can bring to the organization, and that's why people look at this type of solution. So let me deep dive into these 2 different products. The first one that I'll cover is Google Site Search. And this is a hosted solution. It's software as a service. It requires no hardware in your organization. It's very easy to set up. You have a control panel like most SaaS type of offerings. And it literally gives you a slice of the google.com index. So if you think my customers typically go to Google and they look up information about me on Google and then come to my site, this type of solution is for you. It gives you the closest thing to google.com relevance right out of the box with very little setup. So it's powered by the same technology. Also, you can customize the look and feel of this. So whereas some of the free products that we offered here previously didn't have as many options, you're going to be able to make this look on brand for you. It can also be very, very easy. It can literally be a drop of JavaScript code that you add into your public site, and away you go with fantastic search. So this can be set up in literally a few minutes for the organizations where that makes sense. For larger organizations that want to really have it on brand and want to have the full sort of enterprise experience with fantastic search, you can also do that with Site Search. So we've covered what it is. It's a SaaS model. It's based on the custom search. It has a lot of enterprise features that have been added into it, and it does have a completely flexible UI. What it's not, though, is equally important. This is only for external public-facing content that Google either knows about already or can know about. It is not for internal content at all. It's not for any type of secured content. In fact, if there's any login that's required in order to get to that page, Google Site Search is not for that type of opportunity. It's also not for rapidly changing content. It comes with a 24-hour service level agreement on when we will get to new content. Now, typically that's going to be just within a few minutes, but on heavy news days, when different things happen throughout the world, the Google crawlers are out there doing a lot of things, and it may take us a full day to get to your new blog post or a new product announcement that you have. So if 24 hours can work for you, that's great. Typically, again, will be much faster, but there is a 24-hour SLA. It's also not for those who want fine-grained tuning of the search results. Really, you can think of this as outsourcing your search relevance to Google and trusting that because of the technology that we have, because of the algorithms that we have, and literally the hundreds of factors that we look at for relevance, you're trusting that we're going to get the right things at the top of the screen. And that's the power of this solution. You don't need to manage that. But if it's something that's not what you'd be comfortable with, then this is definitely not for you. Also, it's not for deep faceted search, all of the sort of e-commerce style of searching. We can do some of that, but if you have a lot of needs there, then Google Site Search is probably not going to be what you want to look at. Who should use this? We believe that the sweet spot for this, for companies considering upgrading from the Mini, is people who had public generic website search with sites that had low to moderate volume. Google Site Search is sold on a per query volume. So you buy a certain amount of queries and that's what you pay for it. So if you have huge volumes, that may get out of whack. If you have huge amount of documents though, that doesn't matter. Previously the Mini was sold by document count, and so Google Site Search is very different. So this is a different model, and your actual query volume will matter here. It should be very familiar to you though. Coming from the Mini, it's going to have a lot of the features that you were used to and probably enjoyed from the Mini, things like dynamic snippets. You can have custom branding. You also are allowed to use the Google branding if you want on your site to let people know that this is search that they can trust and that they will find relevant results from. And it brings sort of that simplicity that the Mini brought to bear. You can also find that here with Google Site Search. Also, you can directly include Google Analytics. So there's a lot of information that Google Site Search can bring to you so that you can sort of on a campaign basis understand who's coming to your site, what are they spending time with, what are they looking for when they get there. All of those different pieces that are important to us as retailers or as people that maintain popular web products. We want to be able to have that insight into our users. So you can get all of this with Google Site Search. Folks have been able to do a lot of wonderful things with site search, things like reducing inbound emails 30% in the first week, being able to help their staff find information better so that they can help their clients, and increasing the amount of interaction that they have, the pages per visit and the length of time spent on those pages, because they're able to directly provide relevant information according to what the customer is intending. That's what we want to do. We want to take their intent and we want to turn it into action on your site as quickly as possible, and search is a very good way to do that extremely quickly. So more information on Google Site Search, google.com/enterprise/search. You can go and find a lot of information about both of these products. And again, the email address, if you have questions about this, is appliance1@google.com. Don't let the Appliance1 part of that fool you. If you have site search questions for this, please also email us there at appliance1@google.com. So the second product I'll deep dive on is the Google Search Appliance. And previously I had called this the Swiss Army knife of search. It really does play itself into just about any type of search experience. It's for both internal and external sites. So just like Google Site Search, that was for external only. This can be done for external sites or for the content that you have inside of your firewall. It's very, very flexible, but it is an appliance. So there's a straightforward model for deployment and for scaling and for management. And it provides a lot of capabilities for you to control, but not have to fully build your client or your internal folks' search experience. So when bringing the Google Search Appliance to market, we wanted to look at some very specific tenets that are really important to creating a first-class search experience for your users. We realized that there's nothing more important than focusing on that user experience, and so to wit, we wanted to bring something to market where it was going to be highly relevant right out of the box. We know that the most important thing we can do is bring the right search results to the top few results in the set. Because nobody goes to page 2. So we really want to be able to come up with results that make sense for that user intent. It also has to be extremely easy to use and very, very fast. We know that if we have to train people to use search, it's probably not working as intended. It's something that people should just be able to sit down, use naturally, and very often many people are using Google.com in their personal lives, and they can have that same type of experience at work now using the Google Search Appliance. Also, in order to be able to support a very complete user experience, we have to be able to reach into all of the different content that you have within your organization. There was a study done by the Society for Information Management, and they said on average people need to search 5 or more repositories to find the information that they're looking for. That's 5 times too long to find the right piece of information. With a universal search approach where you have everything that participate in a single search, people can know that they're finding the right information and know that they know everything that the organization knows about this topic in a single search from one place. So that's a tremendous productivity gains, but underlying that, you have to be able to get all that information into one search. So the ability to work with any repository is very, very important and something that we focus on with the GSA. Also, we have to do that securely. So reaching into a repository is one thing, but being able to respect the control lists and the groups and all of the security that are built into those repositories is key to being able to provide search results that are fully security trimmed. So the bottom line is that you'll never see something with the GSA that you don't have the rights to open. And we don't want to make you change what you're doing security-wise to be able to provide that experience. We have to be a good citizen of the heterogeneous enterprise, and we want to use the protocols that you're already using so that we can work with what you've already created for your company. So these are largely standards-based, and all of the usual suspects that you would expect are going to be supported with the GSA. And then finally, we want to be able to provide one platform for all of your search needs within inside or externally for your organization so that you don't have to have multiple platforms around search. We want to be able to do this at a scale and with a very good TCO as you do need to scale. So all of these things are components that we look at when looking at the GSA and look at building that and bringing that product to the market. Some of the quick features that we'll run through with this. Again, I cannot stress core relevance. Getting the right links at the top of the page is the most important thing that we can do. And all of this requires the Google.com technology that we take through an enterprise-specific software development group and tune for the specific use cases that people use the GSA for. And we do things like 1% testing on any algorithm change that we want to make. Google does over 10,000 different relevance experiments throughout the year, and we make over 500 changes to the Google.com relevance components, and that bubbles down into the Google Search Appliance. So the amount of relevance, science, and learning that we can bring to bear for the enterprise is considerable, and we believe unmatched in the marketplace. So this is really where we lead directly out of the box without any tuning. We're going to provide fantastic relevance. Now, of course, you can guide it and all of those different things. It is an enterprise class solution, but you don't have to. Right out of the box, it's going to provide this relevance. So very, very important. Also, it's going to have a lot of the features that you're used to from the Mini. So items like key matches and being able to sort of have those sponsored type of links where administratively when someone searches for one thing, you know what you want to promote to them, so you can do that with a key match. And again, this is done at the administrative level. There's also things that we'll cover in a bit called user-added results, but this specifically is what's called a key match, and you should be used to from the Mini. Also, query suggestions, automated query suggestions, I would add, are very important to a full-featured search experience. This is a capability of the GSA to literally mine suggestions based upon what people are searching for on an ongoing basis on your site. So it's keyed to where they come to the site and also the amount of information that they're searching across, so that folks in HR will get different suggestions from the folks in IT. And it's something that you don't need to manage. It's sort of a rolling list of things that are most important right now to the users based upon their actual usage. So it's a great bit of technology that you can use to really enhance the search experience. One reason why this is so important is we know that the average keyword search is 1.7 keywords. That's a very little bit of context to really understand user intent to help them find the right thing. So if we can prompt them for other topics or for more information and they can just click on it, we can easily double or triple the amount of keywords that they're willing to naturally give us, thereby helping us provide them with the best results. And this is done very well by the GSA, and it's automated, so it's not something that you have to manage on an ongoing basis. Dynamic navigation is the ability to provide this sort of e-commerce style of searching, as I referred to it before. You may have heard of this as faceted search or parametric search. Basically, it's the ability to take the keywords that were provided and allow people to give us extra context in a natural conversational way so that they can help us find the right information for what they're looking for. And so think of this as, you know, again, that e-commerce. I'm looking for a federal regulation brief, and now I want to select the author that it's from or the topic that it's from. And also we added to this dynamic navigation, we added to this what's called entity recognition. So even if you don't have metadata in your repositories to support this style of search, which is typically required, we can actually automatically create that metadata on the fly at indexing by providing the GSA with controlled vocabularies and different entities that can be recognized during that process. So you can think about what facets make sense for your users, and the GSA can create those facets for you to provide a fantastic search experience. One of the things we've seen a lot of in the field is that people are not just searching for documents. They're also searching for other people and people to collaborate on those documents. And so using that sort of mantra of a universal search approach, we want the ability for a user to be able to search for all content, whether it's a person or a document, in a single place, because we want to drive up that productivity by not making people go to different locations. People search or expert search in the GSA is very full-featured. It can come from any number of different areas. If you have different social profiles, things like SharePoint profiles, we can populate those. We can populate the people information from that or from LDAP, Active Directory, and we can provide a great seamless search experience to people looking for individuals. We can also provide things like dynamic navigation on the skills of those individuals, so we can really help people sort of navigate through a structure and find the right expert to help them with a particular problem that they might have, or to somebody to collaborate on a certain project. Also, spell checking, very mundane, I know, but I think it's fair to say that Google.com is probably the world's largest repository of how not to spell things. People come to our site all the time, type things incorrectly, ask for topics that are strange, all those different types of things that people try to express themselves. It's a great repository for us to understand how they express themselves for certain intent and be able to actually turn that into a valid query so that we can understand the information that we should respond to them. So the neat thing about this is that the GSA will actually learn your content based upon the keywords that it finds. So even if it's a non-standard product name, or there's you know, sort of variances in your content, the GSA is smart enough to learn that and be able to provide your users with the correct spelling of potentially difficult words. The last feature I'll cover is user-added results. Think of this like a sponsored link, but it's the ability for a subject matter expert to directly contribute a search result at the point of the search result page. So think of it like somebody always wants to know what's the holiday schedule, and if for some reason someone's calling, you know, Mary in HR, she can now go do the search that people are looking for this information for and directly contribute that at the top of the search result. It's designed to get the tribal knowledge of your people out of their heads and into the search result so that everybody can benefit from it. There's also a moderation queue on the back end of this. So at Google, we use it unmoderated, but if you need more controls around these types of things, you can also have that queue that an administrator has to actually accept or approve any user-added result that's added to the result set. So a great way for subject matter experts to contribute their knowledge to the rest of the organization. So the reach of the GSA, pretty much unmatched in the market. We have a whole bunch of connectors that we provide directly out of the box for no cost, things like Documentum, SharePoint, FileNet, different shared drive repositories, things like that. You can get all of that with the GSA. There's a number of third-party provided connectors as well, or you can roll your own. And these don't have to be huge, intimidating implementation type things. We have partners that can build them for you, and it's something that is provided as a piece of flexibility so that you can use this with homegrown applications or any number of different repositories of information that you may have that you want to bring to a universal search approach. So we touched on security before, but we just wanted to underscore this particular point. It can get uncomfortable when you start thinking about taking something like the Google Search Appliance and pointing it at all of your internal content. It's very important to know that the Google Search Appliance is an extremely secure environment. It honors the security profiles that you use today. It also honors the security that's built into the repositories that you have. So the bottom line is that a user will never see a result that they don't have the rights to open. And there's a number of different ways that we can work with this. So if you have specific security questions, please email us about those, start a dialogue with us about those. This is used by a number of different federal agencies, items where security is really, really important, and we believe that we have an excellent solution for any of your unique security requirements. Also, the total cost of ownership of this platform is really stellar. Because it's an appliance model, it's designed to not only be an excellent entry point for what you can get a Google Search Appliance for, but it's also designed to scale as you go up in document count, because that is how it's licensed. It's designed to be able to provide, even at the top end of huge repositories like 1 billion documents, to provide that at a total cost of ownership that is really game-changing for what else you'd have to spend on a different type of product. And the ongoing management of this, because it's largely automated, because it has an easy-to-use administrative console, because of all of those different things, it's typically a very small fraction of what is required from the tool set approach that we've seen a lot of other products use. So this is definitely industry leading from a TCO perspective, and something that we would love to discuss more fully with you in your specific situation. So summarizing all these points together, Google Site Search is for external use cases. It's for public content only. It provides great search with a minimal amount of work from IT specifically. Also, there's no hardware or software to support. You don't need a lot of heavy footprint servers and everything to get world-leading support. And it's most effective for organizations that have a high dot count but low to moderate search volumes. Conversely, the GSA is for both internal and external use cases, so you can use it anywhere you have search. Also, it is for secured content. Any of the security profiles that you will typically work with, the GSA is going to support. It has control of content ingest. You can do biasing policies, so you do have control over search results and the ranking of those results. It's very good with parametric and faceted search, the dynamic navigation that we spoke about, and entity recognition to generate the metadata to provide that type of experience. And it's truly a universal search platform. Any type of search problem that you have, typically the GSA has a way to help you with that and provide fantastic Google relevance over that particular challenge. And it's going to be most cost effective with people with very high search volumes and lower document counts. It can scale literally up to billions of documents, but for cost effectiveness, if you have huge document counts and it's public content, you would want to go to GSS versus the GSA. So we wanted to just quickly show a number of client sites that use these two different products. Folks like Sprint on GSS and JibJab and Travelocity, some of these places, very strong consumer type of places that you probably already use the search there. GSS is what's fueling that type of search experience. On the GSA side, there's a number of fantastic external sites that you can also go to, folks like Fox News and NetApp and Discover.com, all those different types of places. And there's also thousands of intranet sites that we can't show you, but that are being used inside of organizations to be able to provide a Google search experience across that internal content. All told, there's about 30,000 active search customers, so this is very well used, both of these products very well used across a myriad of different industries and organization type. Hopefully you fit in there somewhere, and we would love to speak with you further about your particular needs. So for more information, the place to go is google.com/enterprise/search. And again, you can email us with any questions at appliance1@google.com. Don't hesitate to email us. We will get back to you if we haven't covered something that's important to you. We'd love to discuss your situation and help you make the right decision for how you can upgrade your Google Mini. Thank you very much for your time.